Hello everybody. Today we're reviewing the AK Diffuser and we're talking to its inventor. Now normally when I review a field macro product I do so in the field. However, the field is frozen. It's 9 degrees outside. So I'm reviewing it in the studio. I hope that's okay. I've had it for about a month. Thank you very much to Zamir Pena for sending me a copy of the AK Diffuser. I've been using it for about 4 weeks, mostly in a test environment because it has been too cold to go outside. But you'll see me using this a lot more. He's going to let me keep it for a while longer, so I'll be taking it out on upcoming trips as soon as everything melts outside. So people have been asking me to review this for about 3 years. A lot of you already own this device. And a lot of you may soon own it after you see this review because I'm going to rave about it. I think it's a fantastic piece of gear. By the way, I also think Mr. Pena is a uniquely fascinating guy. I'm not going to say anything else right now about him because you're going to learn all about him when you hear me talking to him in the second half of this review. So stick around for that, definitely. All right, so this invention, the AK diffuser, it's actually not one diffuser. It's 30 different diffusers, depending on your camera, your flash, your lens. They make this thing to fit with whatever system you have, which is amazing. But it means that when you get one, it really is made for your camera. It doesn't fall off just because it's upside down. It's thoroughly suited to your camera, and this one certainly is to mine. This is a particularly impressive diffuser. It works really, really well, does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it has some features that other diffusers don't. Some of you who've been around a while know that several years ago, I invented and built my own diffuser, and it was pretty popular. People liked it. I made about 100 of them, and I gave them all away. They were made of foam rubber material with a nice shiny lining and a diffuser thing on the front, and they fit on your flash. And yeah, I thought they were pretty good until I saw this. Then I realized just how rubbish mine were and what a good diffuser should look like. This thing is very impressive. It's thoughtfully designed. They make these things by hand at their factory in Florida. Zamir Pena is an engineer, and looking at this diffuser, it shows. He's also a bit of a perfectionist, I think, and that shows too in the way this thing is put together. It's deceptively simple. It really is. It's a hood with a white lining and a layer of diffusion at the front, and that's about it. But that's really not it at all. There's a lot more to it, and this is only the latest iteration. I mean, I think that later on in the interview, you're going to see some of the other versions of this that came out earlier. But it's lightweight. It's made of a very durable, waterproof polypropylene material. That it comes flat when you buy it. It comes in a beautiful box, really well laid out, and it's in pieces. But the pieces all snap together with these very durable nylon snaps. It's got a fantastic diffusion material that reminds me an awful lot of the mylar that I like so much. This is a bit thicker, a bit denser, and it's a bit more effective at diffusing the light than a single layer of mylar would be. Underneath the diffuser is a small LED strip light, which is small and compact, but it's just enough to give you the light you need to see your subject, to line up your shot. And you can do it all from outside the diffuser. Your power pack just hooks on here. Well, I guess I could show you that. The power pack goes on like something like that. You turn it on and then turn on the light, and Bob's your uncle. And this allows you to find your subject and not let it get away. And all of that can be done from the outside just by snapping the button on. The diffuser fits right over your flash, right on top of your lens, and it is really well designed to fit snugly and tightly onto the flash and onto the lens. And with a couple of little tiny thin Velcro strips, it just doesn't come off. You can bash the thing around, it doesn't come off. It fits like a glove, it really does. The head of the flash goes all the way into the diffuser, as you can see, and there isn't much light that comes back out. Now, you may use continuous light. If you're using mirrorless, that may be your choice, the kind of thing that our friend Klaus Galore uses. And actually, Klaus and Zamir have worked together on modifying this for a continuous light like the one that Klaus uses. Keep your eyes open for that. So on the side of the diffuser is this. It goes right there. And it's got the same cool plastic as the main diffuser. What do you think that is? No, guess again. No, you're still wrong. It is a holder for a Raynox diopter. What a brilliant idea. The diffuser attaches to your lens and camera in just a few seconds. It detaches even quicker than that. Shall I show you? One piece of Velcro, two pieces of Velcro, and it's off. It's impressive. And it folds flat. Pop the diffuser off. Who knows which piece should be let's go with the one with the less snaps. We'll go with the underside here. There you go. Flat as a pancake. Stick it in your bag. Unsnap it on the other corners if you need to. It really doesn't take long to put together. These snaps feel like they will last a lifetime. That's it. It's back again. When you're not using it as a flash, if you've got a small enough dog, there you go. So they won't bite themselves. That's all there is to it. The simplicity and ease of using this thing is definitely one of the more attractive features of it. It's easy to put on, and though the first time you look at it, it does have a fairly big footprint. I mean, it looks like a fairly substantial piece of gear that would be rather in the way on your camera, but it's absolutely not. You very quickly lose sight of the fact that it's on there. It just has a profile that doesn't get in your way. I usually wear my camera over my shoulder and over one arm, so the camera is fairly high. And I would have thought that maybe this would get in the way of my field of view when I was looking for bugs, but it doesn't. It just it really lies down fairly flat across the top of the camera. It weighs nothing. Well, not exactly nothing. It weighs 7.3 ounces, which is 190 grams, and that's light. That's the same weight as two 18650 lithium batteries. It's about 3/4 of the weight of an iPhone. How do I know that? Well, I weighed my iPhone, obviously. So it's light. Something very, very cool. I said that he makes this in different dimensions for a bunch of different flashes and cameras and lenses. He also makes one that is unbearably cute for the MF12 flashes. It's like a little, it's like this thing's nephew. I mean, it's tiny little thing, goes right on the MF12, and he has designed those so that if you have four MF12s on the mounting ring, then the four diffusers just petal in with one another. It's absolutely fantastic design. Lovely. Throughout the interview, I was dropping hints about trying out the MF12 flashes, seeing as that's my flash of choice. But yeah, I don't know if you got it or not. We'll see. So how does it do its job of diffusing the light? As a single layer of diffusion, this works very nicely. What Zamir has done, he's removed the silvery, shiny coating that I used to have in my diffuser, and he's replaced it with just an even white interior layer. And he tested a lot of different layers to find a material that gave him the effect that he was looking for. He also suggests, by the way, that you drop down the little scatter panel on your flash so that it covers the end. It helps to soften the light. Now, I know a lot of people who use this diffuser, and I have only ever heard one quasi complaint. It's not really a complaint, it's just more of an observation, and that is that the light is extremely even and flat, not in a bad way, flat in a good way, not a lot of specularity, not a lot of deep shadows. It just casts a lovely cone of light over the subject. And that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm not sure why people would complain about that. If you want a flash that is going to give you some kind of directionality, then take the flash off your camera and hold the thing at the side, or get a second one. But you can't split the light source when you have a single flash bulb flash. Does that make sense? I think people are thinking that maybe this thing should put out a different kind of light on each side, which is a great idea if you have two flash heads. But when you only have the one, you can't do that. And so it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It puts out a lovely, even light with very, very little specularity to it, and not a whole lot of deep shadows, because it is getting the light coming in into this cone where your subject is here. The light is coming from all around. Gives a very pleasing effect. If for some reason you wanted to add a little bit of contrast, side to side differential lighting, it would be a very easy thing to put a small black flag with a little piece of double-sided tape over one part of it. That would cut maybe half the light or a third of the light, and you could get a kind of fill light, key light differential from side to side. Honestly, it kind of defeats the purpose of buying this lovely thing if you're going to do that, but you could. If you wanted to do something else to create a unique lighting effect with this, you could use this. Now, this was obviously stolen from an aeroplane. It's the goggles you use to go to sleep. This looks like it would be about as effective as those goggles in putting somebody to sleep. What this actually does is it clips onto it rides around on it like this. You have to unclip it and turn it around to mount it. And then you have this, like so, looking more and more like a nun's hat every bit you change here. But when you drop this down, and what do you think this does? Have a guess. When you do this, you get some light that scatters down behind your subject. And this gives a very impressive backlit kind of halo effect. Very, very nice. Not bad halo, like focus stacking halo. A nice soft edge light. I really like it. It's a clever idea, well thought out. And that's where you stow the thing, so you don't forget about it. The diffuser comes with a set of very nice background cards that are really designed for using as backdrops, but apparently several people will use them to stick them in one side or the other of the diffuser to get a color effect on that side, kind of like a gel, which is a good idea. I didn't do that, but yeah, I could. I have heard some misguided individuals saying that they thought this device was too bulky. To those people, I would say, get your hands on one of my old diffusers, and then you'll know what a bulky diffuser feels like. This one is really not bulky. It's pretty streamlined for the size of the diffuser. There is a real linear relationship between the size of the diffusion panel and the evenness and the consistency of the diffusion. You cannot have a quarter-sized diffusion device on a flash and expect to get soft light. You're just going to get a spot of light. The bigger the diffuser, the more effective. And in this case, Zamir has put a curved surface to the inner diffuser so that it adds to the surface area while taking up less space. So yeah, it's not bulky. That's I just don't buy that. It's very cool looking. I love the finish on the surface, the emblems that he has on it. It's just a really well put together device. What about the price? It's $103 or thereabouts. You can only get it through his website, through Zamir's website, which is akdiffuser.com, unless you happen to use the OM system, the Olympus camera system, in which case you can buy it as an accessory through Olympus. Uh, but apparently you pay more if you do that. So you might want to just get it from the website. Whether you're in Europe or in the US, wherever you are in the world, order it through his website and he will send it to you. The AK Diffuser is a solid, reliable product that does a great job of diffusing light. It's made by macro photographers for macro photographers. I think you'll be very pleased with it. It's not expensive and it's worth every penny. As promised, we are now going to meet the inventor, the CEO, the line worker, the public relations department, and the chief babysitter of AK Diffuser. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another interview on Alan Wall's photography. I am absolutely thrilled tonight to have the inventor of the AK diffuser, but I thought that this was such a cool thing, and he is such a cool guy that we really needed to meet Zamir Pena in person. So that's what we're doing today. Zamir, welcome. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm gonna do my best to answer all the questions. And I am fascinated with your audience, and thank you so much, Alan. This means the world to me, and also to my family as well. So everybody's happy because this is happening. So
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, it's an honor for us to get you. I mean, there are there are a lot of people who are inventing a lot of cool stuff these days for photography, and many of them we've talked to. The reason I wanted to talk to you was not just because of this remarkable diffuser, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a really lovely piece of equipment. Why I wanted to talk to you was because you are such a nice guy in a world that doesn't do nice guys much anymore, especially not in business. We've had a few exchanges, and I was so impressed with your attitude to your business and to your creations and the way you treat your customers. I thought we just absolutely needed to talk sometime. So that's what we're doing tonight. And I'm going to ask some questions and then shut up while you give me your answers. And just tell us anything that you feel that we should hear. Why don't you start out, though, by telling us a little bit about Zamir and how you got to be here, how you got to be an entrepreneur in such a cutthroat business?
that's a good question. So let me start by saying, like, where I am right now, it wouldn't be possible without the people that been like supporting AK Diffuser. AK Diffuser is very small business. It's compounded by my wife, my mom, and the two kids. They are basically who motivate us to continue doing our best. But the most important part for us is being the clients, the customers who always supporting us to do the best. So I can say without the AK diffuser people, I wouldn't be now having you in front of the camera. So just thanks to everybody because it is incredible the support that I've been having. Uh, and I start just by creating a small lighting and a small diffuser and not even like selling. We're like giving to friends and
Mhm.
more people start asking. And then the name continue like we're like basically people start asking for to do it. And that's how we start with everything. We're basically a K diffuser, just start by word of mouth.
Where did the AK come from?
Very good question. Is the name of my two kids,
Oh,
Amir and Kamir.
what are their names?
Amir is the
Amir?
older one, and Kamir is the
Amir.
youngest one. Two boys.
Fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. People are going to love to hear that. Were you a photographer, a macro photographer before this invention?
I was doing photography, like portrait photography,
Hmm.
then engagement. then wedding photographer, and that's basically when I start facing issues with macro, doing more the rings.
Yes, yes. Okay.
And that was the first time I was having challenge. And then I that happened in Anchorage, Alaska, when I went to school. And after I graduate, I moved to Florida. So I have a background in engineering and architecture design,
Ah,
and then moved here.
architecture.
Design, yeah.
I see that now. I see that. Anchorage. How was Anchorage compared to Florida? Probably like Illinois compared to Alabama.
Yeah,
Cold
it's
up
the
there?
yeah, super cool. It's the most beautiful place ever, but at the same time, it was cold for me.
Oh gosh,
I
I
would love to get
believe it.
back there during the summer, so have a lot of friends still there. So,
So how did the whole thing start? What came first before the diffuser we now know and love?
so basically, everything started just as anyone doing macro photography was
Aha,
this panel.
very familiar.
Very familiar, right? So
And actually not
people,
that bad. It's a useful tool, but
yes,
has
correct,
problems.
correct. So everything started basically uh, by the challenge that most of the people have doing macro. So
Mhm.
when I moved here to from Anchorage to Florida, I started doing macro photography. I was like amazed by the small creatures, and I was fascinated because I just want to get into the details that I wasn't able to see, and everybody were amazed by see also
Mm.
those images. And the more I shared, the more people want to explore the most. But the same happened to me. And something that happened to me, Alan, was like the more I was doing macro, the more I respect the nature. And the respect was something that uh, basically I was scared to walk into the grass. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
that bad. So I was like concerned about every single creatures, and the respect is basically is diving also into my family. So
Mhm.
because they are into this small world as well. Now basically the kids, my mom and my wife, maybe they don't did it like that in the past, but now everybody's basically respecting the nature uh,
Yes.
extremely. So,
Well, I think that's what got a lot of us into this, and what the passion that we have for it comes from that. It's an opportunity to show people how beautiful the parts of the world we can't see are, and that this just helps make that all the more beautiful. This device. Uh, how long did it take to get to this beautiful, stylish end product?
wow, good question. So, if I remember correctly, like everything started basically after this panel. I was having a friend of mine, really good photographer. His name is Oscar Rojas.
Your
He lives in
Rojas?
Miami. He lives in Miami, and he was having a problem, uh, lighting problem, and he was like asking me what I was using. So he saw my pictures on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, uh, what do you use?" And that's how everything started. So I was telling him like, "Okay, I have a diffuser that I built. Um, it was like the front panel, and then I start like putting layers on top,
Mhm.
and I have it right here. This really old.
Oh, that's the original.
This is the original.
That looks a lot like my one, except mine was way worse than that.
So this was the original one, and basically he asked me to do one for him, and I told him like I couldn't just because this is rigid, so I wasn't able to to send it to him like flat.
Right.
And then after that, I started investigating about what to use on the top, what materials, and I started exploding, and spending. I spent a lot of money. This is true, just like by getting the right material. And
What
After
is the material?
this, yes.
It's an
So
interesting plastic.
yes, the material is called polypropylene.
Polypropylene, yes.
Yes. And
Very, very rigid.
yeah, so this is basically our first model that came
Uh-huh.
out, and we sold that one. And we start we were having like a lot of problems more with the size. At the first it was like really big, and we start basically Oscar and myself making it smaller, making it work, make it to look nicer as well, different material to be strong. And something that we were facing is like we want something that you can use not only to be good, but that you can use no matter what the situation is.
Mhm.
Because having a diffuser just like this, as you can see, a lot of light is like just getting lost.
Right.
And basically, we start manipulating and doing a lot of experiments. And that's when we start like adding a panel on the roof and on the same one on the bottom. And like that, we continue improving. And most of the improve it was coming also from the feedback. So the first people that we sent the diffuser uh, basically for free, they were telling us, "What about this? Can you make it to fit round flash
Mhm.
like the one that we know, like Godots and
Mhm.
and uh, and just like that, I start like doing those, and people start sending me measurements. So that was huge. So I start asking for, okay, can you give me dimensions? Give me the flash dimension, lens dimension, camera. So because of my background, I start basically having a huge data of all this combination and being able to produce a diffuser with something in particular is like we didn't want to make something uh let's general. I mean
Right.
something
Right.
universal.
Mhm.
Because the key point for macro um for AK diffuser is to respect our clients. So we really basically look at into every accommodation as possible to make a diffuser to fit just for your equipment. So we really respect this, and it's something that we want to continue doing because it is easier to make something universal, but not something that will work as best as possible. So for us, it's been basically the base of the company from the beginning. It's just doing right, do it the right way, and I believe people see that on us.
Mhm. Oh, there's
And
no question about it. How many different versions then do you have at any given time of the main diffuser? I'll talk about what else you may
like
have.
currently,
Mhm.
we have more than 30 designs.
3,
30 designs.
30.
Mhm.
My goodness. So when somebody orders one, you match it to their flash and their camera?
Correct.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I know you asked me about it, but yeah, that's incredible. So you have to make 30 separate models and you have to stock 30
And
models. So,
even now, for example, is really often like maybe like twice a week. I have a new order coming that I need to create like a new front panel.
oh,
So
new
yeah,
camera,
so
new flash.
yeah, and more now those days with all the accommodations that you can use. For example, different systems. For example, a camera can be OM, and you can use a Canon lens into the camera. So
Mhm,
I've been seeing a lot of different configurations, and even like different flash from Nikon to Canon and all
mhm.
that. And then I just respect. I don't ask my customer why. They have a reason why, and I respect that reason, and I just do it for them as best as I can.
I know you've been working with a good friend of mine, Klaus Gilloy from Washington, who has a very unique way of shooting, an incredibly successful way of shooting. Is he the most complicated adaptation you've had to make for this thing?
I can say definitely it's one of the most complicated, and I still not happy, and that's why it's not for sale yet. Yeah, I want to develop something really special, and this is for the Cyrox C150
Serious, yeah.
series.
No, that's
Yeah.
not serious. We know the light, the square,
Okay. Yeah.
an odd shape, but yeah.
Yeah. And the problem with that light is basically it's not in the center. It's off.
Oh,
And the balance of the diffuser I feel is not right, and I still haven't found basically the right way to distribute the light the way a K diffuser like. so, so
absolutely.
but
And that's so your attention to detail is obvious. Let me ask a couple of questions about the manufacturing process. What kind of tooling do you use to cut out the shapes? Because they're very accurate. And is it laser?
no, we have a CNC machine, we have
Ah,
a knife, and that's how we do it. We start with scissors. so,
really?
yeah,
Yeah, how many people do you have in your plant, in your
three,
three?
including myself. So
Right.
three people.
This is why
So
we're talking late in the evening on a Friday. You had to wait till you were off work. My goodness, three people, and you make a lot of these things. I
we build everything here in house.
Well,
Yeah.
your packaging and delivery was just fantastic. It felt like I was receiving it from a big company.
Thank
Very
you.
good attention to detail and great instructions as well. The website instructions for putting it all together. It's a little daunting at first if you're not used to
Mhm.
putting things together, but comes together very easily. When did you decide to add a modeling light? Is that more
As
recent?
the beginning, no, since the beginning.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, basic. The basic start like people when doing macro at night, they were having like trouble just focusing and or indoor, and that was something that we started from day one. First diffuser that we saw, it was having yet the integrate LED light component with it.
Got it. One of the there are two, not criticisms. That's too strong a word because they're very just mentioned as an afterthought. But two things that do occasionally come up when I'm asking people about their experiences. Uh, it's bulky compared to some of the things we just cobbled together on our cameras, but most people just get used to that because the light is so effective. The other is the light can be a little uniform, a little flat without directionality. And one of the things that I like to emphasize in my photography is using different powers from the sides. Is that something that you, as a photographer, have thought about and are maybe considering figuring into the design at some point?
Sure. And one of the beauty of the diffuser itself being like that is that as you can see, it can work totally separate of the flash. So you can use a trigger, have the diffuser on side, and we work perfectly. So something that most of the people don't do, but the diffuser is capable of doing that. So we took that into consideration when designing and show you. This is not the right diffuser for that flash. But basically, using a trigger, you can
Yep.
use a diffuser
Yeah.
outside and will work perfectly.
I
And
think that most of us would do that whenever we could to get the flash off the camera. Um, but is there any thought in your design process to finding a way to separate the sides so that maybe you have less light on one side than the other, or is that it? I don't think that it sounds very practical, but
mhm,
yeah, I thought when I was inventing my diffuser, which was terrible
mhm,
compared to this,
no.
I could not for the life of me figure out a good way to get directionality from the light, brighter on one side than the other. So I gave up on it. But I was interested to see if that was something that you had struggled with.
So honestly, it's more about like the way everybody shoot and the style that I was preferring, it changed with time because now is the Gold Flash, the one that have the two separate ones,
Yeah.
the NF12.
MF12s, that's what I use. Yeah, I use four of them though
Awesome.
in the
So with
field.
those one, basically we do have a diffuser for that. So basically
Oh.
it depends of the style of people. So something that we did with that design is like we wanted to keep it functional. So all
Hmm.
the way. So that diffuser, basically you can move around, take it off, and do whatever your preference will be. With this diffuser, what we were looking more is more like I have one chance.
Yeah,
Let me do a picture, and it has to be right from the first time. So it's basically let's do something that will work no matter what.
yeah.
And
I respect that. I think that's, people who want to have
mhm,
more complex lighting will buy a more complex light. You don't happen
mhm.
to have an MF12 diffuser with you, do you? The for the
Uh,
Godox
yes,
MF12?
yes, I do. I can,
Can we look at it real
yeah.
quick? Because
It's
that's
like,
my go-to flash. I'd love to see it.
okay. So it's basically a
Oh, oh, they're so cool.
and they are so
Mini
small.
8K diffusers.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
sell them in pairs or
yeah, yeah, it comes
oh,
in pair. And the basic of this design is like we wanted to continue the mobility of the flash itself. We don't want just to constrain and having this one layer in front. No, we want to keep basically
good.
the same portability of the flash, which is an awesome flash.
This would work on my indoor platform too, because I use MF12s for my flash indoors, and they're small enough, but the diffusion is far enough in front of the flash tube that you'd give very effective flash. What material do you use for the actual diffuser?
This material is something that we basically have.
Secret?
It's not secret. It's just like we have a special company that is doing for us only.
Ah, okay.
So this
And that,
material is being produced, and it's not a patent that we have or nothing like that on that material, but basically we found that it was working but was not perfect. So we were sending to them like what our needs
yeah,
on thickness and diffusion material and all that. So they came out with this, and we are
you're
extremely
happy with it?
happy. Oh yeah, and also the material that is the polypropylene that we have.
Yes.
This is
Hmm.
straight from. It's only for AK diffuser as well.
Oh,
So
really?
I
So
don't.
this pattern is actually made
Yes,
in the into the material.
yes, that is correct. Even you're gonna see like AK logo inside of the pattern. Some of the pattern.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's like a honeycut, and yeah. So this is our materials as well. So
It's very, very functional, and considering how sturdy it is, it's very light.
yeah.
I think polypropylene was a great choice of material. Do you expect this to have a life? Uh, Somebody who's out in the field two, three times a week, is this thing going to last for 10 years? You think the way it's made?
I think so. I really think if people take care and know how to use it, how to basically unopen, unattach, it
Hmm.
can last like that long.
It can
And
be stored flat. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
store flat. And one of the main thing of the material it was that we want something that can work no matter the condition. If it is winter or hot in the summer, doesn't matter. It's gonna work for every single time. So
Fantastic. I'll ask you this while we're on the subject, because I know people are very eager to hear it. And don't tell me anything that, just tell me to not ask if I can't ask this.
no.
Are you working on other types of diffusers for other special cases, or A new
Yes.
version? You are. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
When
we
can we
always
ex when can we expect to see something in the do you sell these in any shops or outlets, or is it just through the internet?
uh now we are partnership with OM System Europe, and we're extremely happy. We
Oh,
have around
fantastic.
thank you so much. We have
That's
around 3 months, and it's been crazy the amount of support from people, and so many people like were basically saying happy as we were when that happened, and it's
that's
been
wonderful.
hilarious.
Is that everywhere in Europe? The whole
Yes, correct.
continent can order these now through that store?
Correct. But they only have like for their configuration. So in that case, they only doing for the FL700 flash, which
Hmm.
is an OM system flash
Hmm.
with the 90 or 60 millimeter lens that they have,
Okay, okay. For the 90 or the 60?
or the 60. Correct.
Okay, cool. Um, well, I hope that you get some other camera companies to jump on board. I mean, it would
I
be
hope so.
wonderful to see. It would be wonderful to see. Well, let me change speed just a little bit to ask you a little bit about the business side of this, because it is so unusual to see somebody who has built something from scratch and then built a business around it and made it so successful. Because I'm sure that a couple of years from now, you won't even be talking to people like me because you'll be so successful. How did you come up with the brand, and what have you done to put your brand out there other than the quality of the device? How have you marketed yourself?
Everything was since the beginning. I never like put money for advertisement, nothing like that. Everything was uh, more from friends,
Word of mouth?
word of mouth, and the affiliate. Also, we have affiliate members,
Hmm.
and they're being so they were supporting us 100% all the time, and bringing clients and bringing into conference, bringing the diffuser and selling them. So this being like a huge support, and people like you now. Now that you have me here.
Well, I tell you, it's my audience that they were coming to me years ago. When did you sell the first one? How long ago?
2019 or 2020.
So only 4 years, 5 years ago.
Yeah, something like
People
that.
were coming to me 3 years ago and saying, "You have to check out this diffuser." Uh, people have been buying it and using it, and now, before I even really knew what it was, half of my people who are big outdoor macro photographers were using this, and that is wonderful because we're a pretty tight group, and people pay attention to new equipment. So yeah, you've got a whole bunch of converts here.
And
So
YouTube also were like took a huge part, like people like YouTubers like Michael.
yes, what Waddell?
Hmm.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
right.
they've
I
been
did see
so
him using
supportive.
it in his videos.
Yeah, he's
That's
not with
wonderful.
Macro anymore, but I believe that
Right.
he's going to be back soon.
I think so too. I think so too. That's what I wrote to him to congratulate him on his move and tell him he'd be missed. And I immediately thought, well, he's not going to stay gone. You can't stay on this stuff.
We miss you, Michael.
Well, let me ask you another business related question that is of great interest to me. What happens when B&H calls you and says, "We love your diffuser. Our customers love it. We need 5,000 of them." How are you going to respond to? And I think that's going to be inevitable. How are you going to respond to that when it happens?
uh, it being already happened, knowing that amount who they were considering, something that basically it's not that we stop the conversation, but I told them that the problem with the diffuser is basically I want to continue to be more unique and more personalized
Yes.
and genetic or universal. And because of that reason is I know it's something that is constraining us a little bit, but for us, just respect the audience is the key and the most important thing. So
Mhm.
we're willing to work with any business, but they have basically to tell us what configuration they're looking for.
I've got it, and I'm not at all surprised based on the conversations we've had that that would be your priority, though I didn't realize they'd already talked to you, but congratulations on having them
No,
knock on the door. But that is, that's kind of what I would have guessed your response would have been, because I think people do love having the respect and the personal attention to detail. And I know that Graham and Klaus certainly feel that way, because they're constantly telling me how hard you're working to modify your design for them. Um, so all of your marketing is just going through people like me or your customers, and just letting the word spread that way.
correct.
Are you seeing a continuing growth? Is it like more every month that you have to make? Or
Yes,
yeah, it
continue
continues to grow.
growing. And at first, that was one of my. I was scared because of that because somehow I was thinking the community were like small and I was underestimating on how many people do macro. Uh,
Yeah.
it's been crazy in a good way and it's continue growing and the more people it's basically what I see is like duplicating
Mhm.
uh year by year. So more people are into macro, more people are respecting uh, the respect they having for nature, and all this is like motivated. I was at one point concerned about the AI. We're taking like some people like away from this, and it's happening
Mhm.
totally the opposite. It's like people are more into nature those days and respecting more and valuing. They are valuing more what is done by themselves, not by
Yes.
AI technology. And it's been surprised me in a good way and extremely happy that this continue being the case, that people are more uh, con- they are more into the real stuff, not
Mhm.
something that can build something and just to have in 1 second be the image ready for you. And
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's very encouraging. I mean, I've been talking all this week on my live streams about AI and about the impact on our art. But I believe you're right. I mean, there are things that the AI will never be able to do. They'll never be able to replace the human touch in what we do, and the amazement that we feel when we see these amazing things with our cameras.
the
Uh,
emotions,
um,
yes.
and this just makes it that much easier to do. You told me that a very important part of your business is responding and reacting to customer feedback. Yet there's only three of you and you have a lot of customers. So how do you physically do that? I mean, how do you have somebody putting the feedback together, or do you have to read every email?
I do everything myself.
Well,
Yeah,
I started out doing that, and it eventually beat me out of it. I had to stop, but I'm impressed. So you respond to all your messages then?
correct. Right
Wonderful.
now, it's zero message to respond. So I've been 100%
Oh,
dedicated to Instagram, Facebook, responding emails, and sometimes if I don't get it, it's because it went to my spam or
uh-huh.
something. But we are we are very good like responding and taking care of our friends.
Well, you and I are in about the same position, because I'm only 26,000 emails behind. Um, oh, I used to be caught up, but no more. Who is AK Diffuser's biggest competition? Who are you afraid of?
AI. I was afraid. I was more afraid with AI, as I mentioned
Really?
before, but now
Just killing the photography completely?
I don't think it's gonna do it, and I pretty sure people gonna continue celebrating what is being done by human
Mhm,
and respecting what is being done by human. And no matter what happened on the future, I think that the feeling that the emotions that happen to yourself, like taking an image, is doesn't gonna get you're never gonna get it back from AI. So that experience is gonna be unique. It's your time, and how many? I mean, if I ask you, you gonna tell me like hundred of stories about like, oh, I did this image back in this year, and
mhm.
so it's like a history behind. It's something.
Yes.
It's a feeling. It's emotion. It's like I did this year. It's important. So it's all this information into one image. I
Mhm.
believe never gonna be uh, being given by any AI. So
No,
for
no.
me, it never gonna end.
Yeah, it won't. I mean, people will always take pride in their work, and they'll always be
Hmm.
excited about it, no matter what happens elsewhere.
And
Now
something that drive us also that you're talking about the computers. Uh, I want to talk about a little bit there. Like we try our best to be in front of
mhm,
others, and I don't know. It sounds rude, but we just try, to continue working, improving ourselves, and never stop just with one design. So at first, when we start with 8K, uh, all the diffusers that were in the market, they are a lot of diffusers on the
mhm.
market, and all of them they were like in the inside they were silver color,
Yes.
and that was like we were the first one that started using white, and they
Mhm,
were like reasons why it was more because reflections on
mhm,
eyes of the subjects. So we want to have uh, a really good pattern from the edge, from the top to the bottom of the diffuser,
mhm.
and we were not getting that with the reflective material. So
Right.
getting into white, and then and also we're not like only the white. It's like what white we use, what color,
Uh-huh.
what couldn't be matte, couldn't be glossy, so it have to be in between. So all this aspect, it was like critical to us, and we
Mhm.
were doing a lot of experiments. And after we get that, uh, I don't know if your users can see this little
Right, right,
cap.
right. This
So
piece there.
yes,
Mhm.
so this little cap, this is for the rhinos. So this
Oh,
is coming.
I wondered what it was for.
So just in case anybody don't know, so this
Okay.
is a
I'm gonna get
magnification
my
glass.
I'm gonna get my Rainox and clip it on there. I mean, I thought it was a porthole or something, but okay. How clever.
So, and this idea came just by my own experience. I was a lot of times just like trying to take a picture, and just by getting the rhinos, it
You
was
lost
gone.
the
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
flew out.
yeah.
So I was like, I need something that was close enough to be able to do it back and forth, move it back and forth, and then I can always this idea. Other people are using as well. We are happy. What we want, I mean, we're happy that majority of diffusers now are doing white. We are happy that some of them are using the Rhinos cat,
Mhm.
because the more they innovate, the more I gonna innovate as well. So it's
Right.
gonna be moving everything forward,
Everything forward. Yeah.
and I'm happy. I'm never gonna be, like mad or angry because of that. No, I mean,
No.
I want this to continue grow, and who knows how this is gonna end. And in the future, yes, I'm planning also to move to video. So it's
Mhm.
something that we want to add, like a lighting into the diffuser, to the current diffuser, that you can add basically a panel that you can do video photography as well.
Wonderful.
Photography.
So
Using the
continuous light
same
with it.
continuous
Yeah.
by using the same diffuser.
Oh,
So
that will be very cool to do. I mean, I've been doing more video, and that would be a wonderful way to do it. I,
and of camera flash as well. So we're moving also to do some of that. It's coming.
I think that there is a move away from flash because of mirrorless cameras getting better and better and global shutters. People are more interested in taking advantage of the quicker, the quieter cameras, and that just begs for good continuous light. Jumping tracks again, when I was preparing for our meeting, I was imagining that you probably had 20 or 30 people in your factory, and I was going to ask you about how you assembled the team of people. But I guess are they all family?
Yes,
The
all family members. My
how,
mom, my wife, and I, and the
uh,
kids, of course.
that's fantastic. But then just keep doing what you're doing. Do you have extra family for when you need more people?
uh, my dad sometimes.
Good, good. Then I'll tell people to keep ordering these things so that you'll have to recruit cousins next. Tell
Thank
me,
you.
how how has how has this whole experience, this last 5 years or so, helped you develop as a person? I mean, this is like being on a rocket ship to go to this amount of success so quickly. Has it changed you?
Yes, been changing me a lot. Respecting more people, and that's maybe why you're getting some of the feedback from me, and this means a lot to me, honestly, like that people can see that. And it's more each diffuser reflects not only my work, it's the work of a family. And it's meaning a lot. Everybody that gets a diffuser is making us, happy. And we happy to build. We happy to make it. And we hope that when people open the box, they can see that they spend money, but more of the money they can see love into this. And
Mhm,
it is a lot of love, and we're gonna continue putting the best as we can. And if at one point I don't feel it, I will stop, honestly. So just having my family supporting me as well is the most important part, because now if I am busy, they are busy as well. So
mhm,
everything is like a connection. And imagine if I were doing this alone with basically other workers,
mhm.
maybe my family wouldn't understand the time that I was were spending. But because they are here, we do everything as best as we can on the time we can, and that make it us comprehend how valuable is each one of us. So
Mhm.
without my mom or my wife, something won't work. So now
Are
we
they
are
happy?
more, yes, now we are even closer than before, and respecting more the time of each one and the kids. And we love to spend time with the kids, and we understand that this is a business and we have a family. So we try to distribute the time as best as we can, prioritizing moments and time. And that's what
When
we
you have
do.
a growing business and the whole family is working in the business, how do you achieve a balance between your personal, your family life, and your work life? It seems like it would be very, very difficult. Do you shut down the factory on a Saturday and Sunday and have a weekend?
Yes, like Sundays, basically. I mean, even like Saturday after 2, we
Mhm.
basically shut down. And Sundays, I do respond emails. I do. I
You
don't
have
gonna
to,
lie.
otherwise you'll be like
Yeah.
me.
And
But
Monday,
you don't open up the
no,
conveyor belt for
no.
Sundays.
The 2 girls here, like, I don't allow them to do any anymore.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, it takes discipline. When I started doing this, I worked 7 days a week because I thought it was important, but I was missing the fact that sometimes downtime is important, just as important as the work. Were there
And
any?
and at the beginning, it was like that.
Nah,
Honestly, I mean, we all were. We were using scissors to do everything. So imagine all the time put it was like so much. But also like because we were using scissors, that didn't mean that we were not accurate. So we were putting like all details
yeah,
into each diffuser, and after that, because of my background, I was involved also in the cheap metal company business. So I knew about machines and laser, Trump, and all those huge machines. So I was like, I believe it's time to have my own machine as well.
how
And
long?
then Mhm.
How long had you been doing this before you said, "Okay, we're going to invest in a CNC"?
uh, we have two CNC. The first one, it was 3 years ago, and now we have a baby. Now it's a year old, and that one is the big machine that we use in our daily base.
Wow. Okay, so is there any other special tooling that you need to invest in that you didn't have? You don't do any of the injection molding or anything for the snaps or anything like that?
No, no, we basically sent to a facility to do it for us. But I did the
Oh.
design myself.
Oh,
So all the
okay.
designs and
So they put the hardware onto the blanks for you?
mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. In the process of doing all of this over the last few years, what are the biggest surprises you've had um, from your customers or from your family, or what has come as a complete surprise?
I believe like the hardest surprise and was not a good one. We're coming more with our website. So a friend of mine, his name is Antonio. He lived in Spain. So basically, he did our website, and almost when he finalized the website, he he was having cancer. So
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah, and at one point, he was basically the one that knew everything about the website, the settings, the plugins, eh, and I was not familiarized with the website design, and he basically wasn't able to continue supporting the website. So at that point, I was having like problem glitch on the website.
Mhm.
Some images were not like showing the right way and things like that. So it was like a hard learning process. So
Mhm.
I learned myself like I mean, not the best way, but I learned a few tricks and make it work. And after that, basically all the changes I'm doing myself. But
Mhm.
because of that, I believe something bad that happened, I gained so much because now I can basically do changes really quickly. And
Do you write HTML?
no, no at all.
You're using an interface like Squarespace
Yes,
or
it's like a
Wix?
with no WordPress.
WordPress, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so you really are you did design it and build it yourself. It is hard work, isn't it? I mean, I learned a lot about web design too, but I still don't know enough to do it well.
Yeah, I understand why. So I just like learn the tricks, like see what was behind and continue like that. But it was like a hard time, knowing being able to move it forward.
Yeah.
And I just like that months was like really hard for us. So I was like basically um with the YouTube University.
Yeah, yeah. I know it well. I teach
Doing
there.
all the
Do you have any advice for any up and coming entrepreneurs like yourself that have a really good idea? Is there anything you would say to those folks about your experience?
all I can say is just like respect the customer all
Mhm.
the way and put them even like more. above you. Even like if you say, "Oh, I wish to be treated like that," even like put this above and beyond, and do as much as you can, because at the end, um, they gonna be there for you. When you thinking that you are failing, they gonna be bringing you up, bringing hope, telling you, "Don't give up. You can continue." So finding people that you thinking they are not your family, seeing there seeing all of them as a family, and because they respect you as one family member, they add you. This being really the key point of us. I was having, I still continue having like support, and I hope that I'm gonna continue having support from each one. Every feedback, negative or positive, we take into consideration. Every one of them is important to us, and we need to take care of our of your clients. If you're gonna do something, no matter what, take care of your clients and do it the best you can do, and they're gonna see the work that you put in back to them. So that will be my advice number one. And the word of mouth is even more important than anything else. This is another one. No matter how you do with, I believe, no matter how you do advertisement,
Mhm.
it can be good, but if the product is not good, it's only gonna be worth it one time. So
Yes, yes.
that's why we continue doing our best, and it's been working for us. So we don't gonna change that.
Yeah. It's amazing how many companies across the globe have lost sight of that, and it's all about the quick profit, and it's sad to see, because yeah, it's not why people went into business in the first place. And clearly, you have a great deal of appreciation for your customers and pride in the work you do. What is your vision for the future of AK Diffuser? What comes next,
Yeah.
if you can tell
So
us?
yeah. So next, we want to get into off-camera flash diffuser. This is something that we are experimenting this moment, and we hope soon we can have new models, and also the video lighting uh, addition to the diffuser that we already have. This is something that we wish that can come through. Uh, and also, I have a lot of ideas of flash that, who knows, maybe we can have an AK diffuser flash. Uh,
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
and this is, I mean, I don't see this coming right now, but who knows? Who knows? It's something that I do have on mind that I wish certain flash to be one way, and I don't see this around. So I don't know. Maybe.
Let me ask that, give you an opportunity to tell us, and I will put it on the screen for people to keep up with what you're doing and to know what's coming out and what you're innovating with next. Where can people go to find that? What is the website or the place to go?
It's gonna be in the AK Diffuser website, akdiffuser.com, and also on Instagram. It's basically the main website that we uh, put all the news. Uh,
Where is that?
Instagram,
Instagram.
mhm,
Okay.
we place all the anything that is new, any new release is gonna be out there for sure.
And what is your Instagram handle?
AK Diffuser,
Okay. Well,
AK yeah.
that's a novel idea. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that? Well,
It's
definitely.
AK underscore diffuser.
Oh, there is an underscore.
Yeah.
Is that on the website too?
No.
No, no, just straight
Mhm,
AK diffuser, no spaces.
mhm.
Very good. Well, I think I already know the answer to this last question that I have for you. That first of all, is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to tell my folks about?
Yeah, I mean, I want to share a little bit of the diffuser.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, when I start and now all the additions that we did, and
Okay.
you can
Well,
see a little bit of the background.
let's do that. And
Okay, very quick. I promise. So this one, as we show at the beginning, so we
right.
first one. So then we move it to this one.
Hmm.
And then we had it this one. And
Starting to
something
look
that
like the
changed on that one is like that one we're not completely flat. I'm gonna share what I mean.
so that was before this curve was
Before that one, correct. So that one we're having like a bang
right.
forming, and it's about an inch and a half.
Hmm.
And our customer, they were complaining because they were not able to travel
Oh, because it wouldn't
because of
fold
the
flat.
bang. And then we were having this design that is really similar to the one that you have,
Hmm.
but the outside material
Oh, it
is
doesn't have the finish.
it was not having the finish, and the logos were not the same, so the material changed to be better. So the one that you have is even stronger
Hmm.
than this one. And same thing on the cap. So we basically matched the two, and we were growing to make it everything better and at the same price. So that was another of the key factor that we wanted, is to continue not taking only the profits. It's just invert the most we can, so we can bring the price down. So by having better quality and even keeping the same price. So this is mhm,
What is the price? What is the
it's
price?
$103 for the
103.
designs. Mhm, 103.75 with for the one that you have on your hands.
That is very reasonable these days. Very reasonable, and that's with everything, including the light and the
Correct.
switch and everything.
Correct.
Very, very reasonable. And people would order this. The only way to order it, unless you're in Europe, is from the website, correct?
Correct.
And if you're in Europe, you can also order it from
The website.
also from the website.
If you don't have the OEM system, if you have a different system, you can order directly from us. If you do have an OEM system and a 700 flash, you can order on their OEM system website.
Oh, okay. So you just go to the Olympus website
Yes.
and order through that. Wonderful. Okay. Is it the same price through Olympus, or do they?
No.
Why does that not surprise me?
they have their own. They set up their own price. So
Understood. Enough said.
so something else that I want to share you is like this design never went public, so we
Uh-huh.
never released this one, and I just want to share to the community something that maybe they haven't seen before. This the reason for this design were for different lenses,
Oh, so
for
you could
the
extend it.
correct, more for the uh, Canon 65 millimeter, the MPE
Yes, yes, yes.
65.
Yeah, right. The MPE 65.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you could have it. You know, I interviewed a gentleman that photographs a lot of soil, mesofauna, tiny, tiny things, and he uses an MPE 65 on extension. So he would have needed that. That would be. I'll call him and tell him about that.
So that one, so it was like so difficult to produce, mass produce this one that we never released. So what we did, we do have a diffuser for that flash, but basically what we did were like a longer version and
Uh-huh.
can cover all the rest of the flash. But something that we also were figuring out with this is like by having the flash right here,
Mhm.
the flash were like two pointing in one direction. We
Yes.
were not happy because
Yeah.
we're conical. So Because of
Yeah.
that, we basically stop and don't recommend it anyone just to do something like that because of that reason.
When did you switch from a standard flash to a round flash? The Godox I saw you had on. Is that your
Yeah.
go-to flash?
No. My go to flash is any regular rectangular flash.
Okay.
And the reason, this is something personal, I really love to do macro photography using the little diffusing panel that the
Yes,
rectangular flash
the
comes,
drop down
the drop
panel.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the main reason is because of the zoom. When you put it that, it's gonna
Hmm.
put the flash on the minimum zoom,
Hmm.
gonna make the light more distributed to be more even.
Yeah, it's more like just a globe of light, like an
Mhm.
open light source without a modifier on it at all.
Yes.
Good point. Good point. I would not never have thought to do that. I will though, definitely. I use Godox as well. I think they're
And
wonderful
the
flashes.
round flash doesn't have that, so only allow you to go to zoom 28, I believe. It's gonna
Does
be
it not have a magnetic thing that clips on the front like a diffuser panel? No,
mm-mm,
I must be
that one
thinking of
doesn't have.
Pro Photo or
Mhm.
something else. Well, I love the look of it. I mean, it looks like a good solid flash that would fit the diffuser really well. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
what you come up with for Klaus because I know he's excited about it and he appreciates having somebody to work with. If um if there was one thing at the end of the day when you're all finished with this and you're retired, what would you want people to remember about you as a person and you as a company? What's the most important thing to you?
I believe the most important thing since the beginning, what we wanted is to that we be a tool for people to explore nature, to enjoy nature, and to achieve what they wanted when they wanted. So I believe that that's what we did, and we're gonna continue improving that legacy and putting customer first all the time.
Well, I think you do, and I'm as impressed with you and your company now more than I was when I asked for this interview, and I was already impressed with your company. So Zamir, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I hope you would wish your wife and your mother our best regards from the channel here and from all of my viewers who I know will be thrilled to get to know you. Please look at the comments from this interview
Oh,
in the video because I have a feeling people will have comments for you to share with you. So I'd like for you to see them if you can.
I
And
will, definitely will. And
and
thank
when
you
you
so much to
oh
you
you're
and your audience. This means the world to us. And from in the name of my family and I. So just thank you so much, Alan. Really appreciate it.
oh you're more than welcome. It's absolutely our pleasure, and I really look forward to seeing what you come up with next. So don't be a stranger. We'll have you back on the next time you change the world with your diffusion. But thank you so much for your time, and give my best to your family.
Thank you.
Good night. Well, there you go. A great product from a great family. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting him. If you enjoyed hearing him, then please leave a comment down below. I'll make sure he gets them all. I'm not sure what is coming up next, but it'll be spectacular. I have no doubt. Until then, stay safe, be well.